or narrative sa Bible can be found in Matthew 21:18-22 and Mark 11:14, 20-25. Sige, basahin muna natin. Matthew 21:18-22. In the morning, as he was returning to the city, he became hungry, and seeing a fig tree by the wayside, he went to it and found nothing on it but only leaves. And he said to it, "May no fruit ever come from you again." And the fig tree withered at once. Basahin din natin yung sa Mark 11:12-14. On the following day, when they came from Bethany, Christ was hungry. And seeing in the distance a fig tree in leaf, he went to see if he could find anything on it. When he came to it, he found nothing but leaves, for it was not the season for figs. And he said to it, "May no one ever eat from you again." And his disciples heard it. So for
Alright, let's see it. Well, actually, confused ako sa kung ano nga bang stand ni Sir Jordan Rovanes. First, nangyari ba talaga ang tagpong ito the way it was written in the Bible? Or ito ay isa lamang sa mga fictional scenario na inimbento?
Bakit confused si Ilo dito? Kasi pinagbabangga niya yung kanyang prejudice. Okay? Pinagbabangga niya yung kanyang prejudice sa kung ano yung sinasabi ng document. Yung worldview ni Ilo at yung worldview ng Christianity, nagbabanggaan talaga yan. So, unbelief at saka yung Christianity, nagbabanggaan talaga yan. It will not reconcile. Now, ang tawag dito sa fallacy na to is a prejudicial conjecture. And what is it? A prejudicial conjecture is a logical fallacy in which someone dismisses or undermines an argument based on a biased assumption. Ano yung biased assumption dito? Na ito ay inimbento lang, so on and so forth. Okay? So, yun yung biased assumption or preconceived notion rather than engaging with the argument's actual content. It's a type of question-begging or circular reasoning where the conclusion is assumed in the premise because of prejudice. Parang ganito, no? The Bible or this event did not happen. Why? Because the Bible is false. This event did not happen dahil invento lang ito. See? So, again, that's prejudicial conjecture. It is a type of question-begging circular reasoning. Bro, mo nag-uumpisa pa lang tayo, pero
ng author ng Matthew. Let's say author ng Matthew kasi alam naman natin na anonymous ang mga gospel. Meaning to say, hindi natin kilala kung sino talaga yung sumulat.
So you see, no, nag-i-exist yung writing and then hindi mo kilala kung sino yung nagsulat. Okay, given that truth na some of the writings of the synoptic gospels are unknown to us. But this is a worldview issue. This is a worldview issue. Just because a particular document that exists na unknown sa atin yung author, then therefore hindi na natin i-engage meaningfully yung writings na ito. We will not seek to reconcile those writings. At paggaganahin na lang natin, what's the back on our heads? What is it? Again, prejudicial conjecture na meron tayo, and then just let that prejudice interpret an ancient document. And I don't think na yun ay isang matinong pag-aaral or scholarship. No? I don't think na yun ay fair, faithful, and honest study. But again, what can we expect from someone who doesn't have any rational basis for his morality and objective truth and of knowledge and of laws of logic? So, pero ganun pa man, tuloy pa rin natin yung video.
Going back, if Sir Jordan would accept na literary device lamang ang mga senaryo na to, in layman's term, invento.
Literary device, no? Tapos in layman's term, invento. I reject the proposition.
Mapapatanong ka, kasi ilang porsyento sa kabuuan ng buhay ni Jesus ang literary invention?
By the way, yung pagkaka-frame na ginagawa ni Ilo dito is, again, hindi niya kasi ini-engage directly yung mga arguments. Ang ginagawa niya is poisoning the well muna. Okay, poisoning the well muna natin. I-touch muna natin kung gaano ba ka-credible itong source na ito. Okay, walang author. Hindi natin lang kung sino yung author. Therefore, it's false. Again, it is a type of question begging. You have already assumed the very thing you are trying to prove. It is false because it is false. Jordan's defense here cannot be true because it's false. Diba? Every assumption that I have, Ilo has, is false. And you listeners should catch that.
At alin ang tunay, alin ang totoo? I can name a few literary inventions. Jesus and Barabbas story didn't happen. Prayer in Gethsemane did not happen. Yung sinang pagkatawad ni Jesus sa prostitute did not also happen.
Katotoo lang, ang dali lang ng ginagawa ni Ilo dito. Bakit? Kasi ang gagawin niya lang is, di ba, inventions, no? Actually, siya yung guilty dyan. Mag-iimbento siya ng seemingly contradictory passages sa scripture. And then, i-expose niya yun, kunyari, na, see? These are contradictory passages. These are inventions. These are not true. At totoo lang, ang dali lang gumawa nun. Pero yung honest scholarship, I hope, no, na kayang gawin ni Ilo yun. And by the way, no, by what standard kaya ni Ilo, again, mini-measure things that are true. Kung sa umpisa pa lang ng video na ito, prejudice na yung kanyang ginagamit. Yun ba yung sukatan natin ng truth? Again, this is dishonesty. This is intellectual dishonesty.
Stories at marami pang iba.
To bear early fruit. So sa Mark 11, makikita natin na nakita ni Cristo yung fig tree na marami ng dahon from far away. So verse 13, and seeing in the distance a fig tree in leaf, he went to see if he could find anything on it.
Hindi ko alam kung saan kinukuha ni Sir Jordan ng input na maraming dahon. Sir Jordan committed a non-sequitur fallacy here.
Teka lang, di ba kakabasa lang natin sa Mark 11:13? And seeing in the distance a fig tree in leaf. Fig tree in leaf. So anong implication nun? Jesus Christ, knowing the fig tree growth cycles na sabi nga dito, no, they typically produce early fruit before the leaves fully appear. At nung may mga dahon na, from far away, nakikita, nare-recognize na. Kung walang dahon yun, how would Jesus Christ recognize or people recognize it? But since na from far away, nare-recognize na itong fig tree na ito ay merong bunga. Bakit? Dahil sa dahon. So kung recognizable na yun sa part na yun, then we can reason from there na marami na itong dahon. So again, if you're going to interpret these passages in light of your prejudice, you will not and cannot arrive to truth. Impossible.
Unang-una, does not mean leaves, therefore maraming dahon.
Does leaves plural that does not mean maraming dahon. Maybe ang issue na lang siguro ni Ilo dito is kung gaano ba talaga ito kadami. As in ano ba ang eksaktong ano ba Ilo? Pag-uusapan ba natin eksaktong bilang ng dahon? I cannot give you that. But again, studying the text honestly and deducing from its implication. Kasi again, if nare-recognize ito sa malayo na ang assumption is merong bunga kasi nga nauuna yung bunga before the leaves, then there is a high probability and I believe na visible yung maraming leaves, recognizable yung maraming leaves para makakapagsabi ang isang person na may bunga na to. So with regards to the exact number of the leaves, of course, hindi ko na kayang sagutin yon. Or maybe ang gustong i-argue ni Ilo dito is konti lang yung leaves. Again, doon ako magre-rest sa truth na malayo pa lang nare-recognize na ito ng tao. So kung malayo pa lang nare-recognize mo na ito, then basically maraming ang dahon ito.
The word leaves itself we cannot make any argument kung kakaunti ang mga dahon or marami ang mga dahon. So this is a textbook non sequitur fallacy.
Can we not? Can we not? And I think I have already demonstrated it. No. Number one, straight from the text, nakikita doon, in leaf. Sa Matthew's account, sinabi doon, nothing but leaves. And based from the fig tree growth cycle, mauuna muna yung fruit bago yung leaves. So you see, no? Kaya nating mag-reason if we allow the truth of the scriptures. Pero again, since Ilo is not allowing that, he's allowing his prejudice. No. Since parang ganito, no? This can't be happening because it is false. This can't be happening because it is false. Ganyan yung reasoning cycle ni Ilo.
Yung na maraming dahon kasi leaves.
So from a reader's perspective, na totally i-ignore ang buong biblical theology. What do I mean when I say biblical theology? Ito yung pag-unfold ng scripture. Okay.
It's not about ignoring biblical theology. You know that. It's a criticism sa pagpapakilala ni Matthew sa pagkatao niya.
Now clearly, no, si Ilo is totally ignorant of what biblical theology is. Kasi itong narrative na ito is an act-out parable. Okay? It is an act-out parable. Kaya ko din nasasabi na maraming dahon yun. Dahil ito, yung mga dahon nga kasi symbolizes the external actions of the Jews na hindi tugma doon sa pinapangaral ni Kristo. And actually, yun yung tinitira ni Kristo dito. Yung mga Pharisaical actions, legalism, external holiness, pero wala namang internal na change, na pagbabago talaga. So, yun ang sumisimbolo sa mga dahon na ito. So, yung kwento sa fig tree, hindi siya isolated fact or isolated case doon sa entire narrative. Again, we have to allow for the story to unfold. Yun po yung biblical theology. We have to allow a particular story to unfold. So, ganun Ilo.
Jesus. Sabi nga ni Christopher Hitchens, how can it be any moral lesson? Cursing a fig tree. Cursing a fig tree.
Wait lang, basahin natin yung nakalagay dito. Jesus, who's supposed to have been a man of love and forgiveness, is seen here acting like a petty, capricious tyrant. He comes across like a spoiled child. In-address na natin ito. No? Hindi siya capricious, hindi siya whimsical. Merong purpose itong narrative na ito. And again, so nagmana pala si Ilo dito kay Christopher Hitchens nga ba? So, nagmana pala siya dito. Sa prejudice, kinukuha yung reasoning. Imbis na i-argue yung pinaka-point mismo ng scripture.
Not in its season is a demonstration of literary mistakes, not in any way theologically sound.
So it's a sign that this tree is a defective tree, is a barren tree, is an unproductive tree. Isang uri ng puno ng fig tree na kailanman hindi na mamumunga. It is barren. And dahil sa barren ito, sinumpa ito ni Christ.
Sir Jordan Rovanes said that the tree Jesus encountered is a barren tree already. Ibig sabihin, kailanman hindi na mamumunga. However, if you read the story, Jesus cursed the fig tree to not bear fruit. If the tree is already a barren tree that does not bear fruit, tulad ng sinabi ni Sir Jordan, ano pang sense ng pagsumpa ni Jesus? Anong sinabi niya?
Anong sense? Kagaya ng sense ng pagharden ng heart ng Diyos kay Pharaoh. Kagaya ng sense na sinasabi sa Romans 1, therefore God gave them up to the lust of their hearts. Take note, these hearts are already hardened. Pwede naman sana na yung mangyari na lang doon is completely hindi na namunga yung fig tree, pero namatay siya. May you never bear fruit again. So itong language na ito, hindi lang ito basta okay, sa susunod na taon hindi ka na ulit mamumunga. at magpakilanman pero mananatili kang buhay. This is an act of judgment doon sa tree. And again, this tree represents the Pharisees. This represents yung mga Jews na nire-reject yung mga prophets, and ultimately they rejected Christ. So again, we have to really allow for the story to unfold. Although to be fair doon sa fig tree growth cycles, okay? To be fair doon sa fig tree growth cycles na for a particular season, sa taong ito, hindi siya mamumunga. And then next year, probably, itong fig tree na ito ay maaari siyang mamunga. So meron pa siyang chance na mamunga, and then Christ cursed it. Pwede naman na yung fig tree ay hindi siya namatay, hindi siya nag-wither, no? And on the next year, hindi na talaga siya namunga, and then nakilala na siya as historical fig tree na kailanman hindi na namunga. Pero hindi nga kasi ganun yung case. Yung case is when Christ delivered that word, the fig tree withered. So again, no, when Pharaoh hardened his heart, harden na yung heart ni Pharaoh eh. What's the sense of God hardening Pharaoh's heart? Anong purpose nun? So, if familiar tayo sa language ng Scripture, ilu. Kung familiar ka sa language ng Scripture that you are criticizing, it is an act of judgment. It is a language of judgment. Itong sinabi ni Christ doon sa fig tree, hindi lang ito merely basta wag ka nang mamunga and then magpatuloy ka pa din sa iyong life. Kasi ang katotohanan talaga, na-destroy yung Old Covenant Temple. Jewish Temple. Na-destroy talaga siya. Nag-wither. Nag-wither, no? So, hindi siya nagpatuloy sa kanyang paglago. Again, this is an act-out parable na tumutukoy sa mga Jew na nire-reject ang mga prophets. Ultimately, nire-reject si Kristo.
Huwag ka nang mamumunga kailanman.
Akala niya siguro, no, ano na to, parang gotcha moment. Well, sorry, Ilo. Failed. Failed na naman.
Sir Jordan here is directly misrepresenting, I don't know, or maybe nami-misunderstand niya yung story.
No, I did not. I allow the scripture to actually speak. No? Exegete natin yan.
Okay? So, if a tree would be used to represent...
And again, Ilu, I don't know what hermeneutical principle do you use. Kasi clearly, nire-reject mo yung biblical theology, yung pag-unfold ng story. Nire-reject mo yung scripture interprets scripture, or tinatawag natin analogy of faith. So, I don't know what hermeneutical principle ang ginagamit mo to at least honestly interpret the passage. So, ako pa yung ina-accuse niya na mini-misrepresent. Clearly, ikaw naman yun nagmi-misrepresent ng narrative na ito.
Ancient Israel or the temple, it would be the olive tree, not the fig tree. Because, kasi pag binasa niyo yung Zechariah 4,
ano daw?
Yung olive tree, it would be the olive tree, not the fig tree. Because, kasi pag binasa niyo yung Zechariah 4, yung olive tree doon ay ginamit na representation ng temple. Hindi fig tree, again, olive tree. So, I think, Sir Jordan...
Ang layo nun na, Zechariah, tapos ito Matthew and Mark, no? Ang layo nun. Sobrang irrelevant nito.
Needs more education when it comes to biblical study. He has committed a lot of fallacious statement, and even, I think...
He can, of course, excuse me, of course, pwede niya sabihin yon because again, he is critiquing, or he is making an external critique. And ano yung basis niya para sabihin mali ito? Prejudice. Prejudice, prejudice, prejudice. Wala nang iba. Wala nang iba, guys. Ganyan ka-arbitrary si Ilo.
Representing the story of the cursed fig tree.
Hindi ka credible to conduct Bible study dahil dito pa lang nag-fail ka na sa pag-understand ng particular text na ito.
By the way, for those who are interested, I've written a paper about Bible's credibility and still available. And this makes...
And gaya na sabi ko, no, ang dali lang gawin yan. Ang dali lang gawin yan. Yung mag-formulate ka ng mga seemingly contradictions. Yung tough work is yung honest study to reconcile these seemingly contradictions. And by the way, we have Christians. Ito yung mga ganito na ginagawa ng mga unbelievers. Ito ay actually magandang providence. Bakit? Kasi nasa-sharpen yung mga believers, yung mga Christians, nasa-sharpen sila sa kanilang pag-aaral, nag-strive sila to reconcile the truth of the scriptures. And not only that, ultimately, na-expose yung katotohanan ng scriptures. So, Ilo, salamat dyan. Pero, hindi yan nakakadagdag sa credibility mo. Because again, nakakadagdag lang yan lalo sa negative credibility. Bakit? It only shows that you have not studied enough these ancient documents.
More credible than any presuppositionalist.
So parang ano lang, no? Parang bata na sinabing hindi ka credible sa bagay na yan. Hindi. Credible ako. Ito. Ito. This is a childish argument. Again, you have to engage in an argument meaningfully to refute what I have said. Hindi lang galing sa prejudice, Ilo. And again, itong mga ang tawag dito, seemingly contradiction na tinutukoy mo. Ang dali lang gawin ito.
Evangelical Christian.
Okay, so there you have it. Na-debunk ba? Na-refute ba? I don't think so. And impossible yon if ang gagamitin mong pang-refute or pang-debunk is only your prejudice. Marami pa kaming pag-uusapan nito ni Ilo. And by the way, magkakaroon kami ng discussion or debate sa 30th nga ba? 30th of April, that would be evening, 7 or 8 p.m. Kailangan ko balikan yung pag-uusap namin dito. But yeah, magkakaroon kami ng debate ni Ilo. Ang proposition is, the Christian worldview is the necessary precondition for knowledge. And I think, yun na siguro yung abangan natin. Again, wala pong na-debunk dito sa video na ito. So, Ilo, try harder. Okay? Alright, so kung umabot ka na sa video na ito, natapos mo, maraming salamat sa iyo. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Christian Worldview Podcast. And of course, pakishare na rin itong video na ito. Leave a thumbs up, lalo na kung ito ay nakatulong sa inyo. So, yun lang muna sa ngayon. May you always think God's thoughts after Him. See you.